I died on a Tuesday, choking on my own blood in the back alley behind Mercy General Hospital. My family's crown jewel of a legacy that they swore would bury me alive. The last thing I saw was my brother Marcus's face. Twisted not in remorse, but in that smug satisfaction he'd worn since we were kids, like he'd finally scrubbed the family stain that was me right out of existence. "You're just the janitor. Live," he'd hissed as he shoved me against the dumpster, his fist connecting with my jaw before the world went black. Betrayal tastes like rust and regret, and mine was served ice-cold by the people who shared my blood. But death isn't the end, it's just the universe's cruelest reset button. I woke up gasping, not in some ethereal void, but in the cramped studio apartment I'd rented 6 years earlier. The one with the leaky faucet and the view of the L tracks rattling like my heartbeat. My hands, younger, unscarred, clutched the threadbare sheets, and I bolted upright, staring at the calendar on the wall. July 15th, 2019. 6 years before the alley. Before Marcus's promotion to chief of surgery at Mercy General. Before my mom started whispering about how I'd embarrassed the family name by dropping out of med school. Before they all turned on me like I was the cancer they needed to excise. It hit me like a freight train. I'd been given a do-over.
众生
They call it in those old stories. But this was no fairy tale. This was Chicago, raw and unforgiving, where the wind off Lake Michigan cuts deeper than any knife. I was Olivia Hayes, 25 again, with nothing but a mop bucket job at the hospital and a lifetime of grudges reloaded like bullets in a chamber. They thought I was trash, the janitor kid who'd dared dream too big. But this time, I'd make them choke on their own medicine. I didn't waste a second. That morning, I called in sick to my shift, first time ever, and spent the day pacing the apartment, piecing together the puzzle of what was to come. In my first life, I'd clawed my way through night classes at community college, mopping floors by day, only to get sabotaged at every turn. Mom, the iron-fisted administrator who'd built the Hayes wing with Dad's old money, had pulled strings to keep me off the nursing track. "You're not cut out for it. Live. Stick to what you know." Marcus, the golden boy, had accidentally spilled confidential patient files during my interview, tanking my shot at an admin role. And my sister Elena? She'd been the whisper, planting seeds of doubt with the board, calling me unreliable behind my back while she schmoozed donors at galas. The secret they'd buried? It wasn't just nepotism, it was murder by negligence. In that first timeline, I'd uncovered the truth about Dad's heart attack 5 years prior. Not natural, but a hushed-up overdose of the wrong meds during a routine procedure Marcus botched. They'd covered it up, framing it as my fault for misplacing the charts while I cleaned his office. I was the scapegoat, the janitor who couldn't possibly understand. It broke me, pushed me to confront them, and ended with me dead in the alley, my body dumped like medical waste. This time, I'd play their game smarter. No rash accusations. I'd rise through the ranks, expose the rot from the inside, and watch them beg for mercy.
But mercy?
That wasn't in my vocabulary anymore. By noon, I was at the library, devouring every book on hospital administration I could find. Harold fucking Kensington's Empire of Care, the Bible for turning non-profits into profit machines. I scribbled notes until my fingers cramped, mapping out alliances, the underpaid nurses who'd nod sympathetically when I mopped their break room, the old-school docs who grumbled about the Hayes family's dynasty bullshit. Step 1. Get off the mop and onto a real ladder. That night, I showed up at the hospital anyway, uniform crisp, eyes sharp. Shift supervisor Carla raised an eyebrow. Thought you were out. I flashed a smile that didn't reach my eyes. Family emergency cleared up. Ready to hustle. She shrugged and handed me the supply keys. As I pushed the cart down the sterile halls, the fluorescent buzz felt like a war drum. Past the nurse's station, where Elena held court in her crisp scrubs, laughing about some donor's yacht party. Past Marcus's office, door ajar, him on the phone sweet-talking a pharma rep. And Mom's suite at the end, floor-to-ceiling windows framing the city lights like she owned the skyline. I paused outside her door, heart pounding. In the first life, this was where it started unraveling, me bursting in with the falsified records. Her icy dismissal. Olivia, you're hysterical. Go clean something. This time, I knocked softly. She looked up from her desk, surprise flickering before it smoothed into that practiced warmth. Liv, what brings you here after hours? Just dropped off some linens. Mrs. Hayes. I used her title like a weapon, formal and distant. Heard about the expansion plans. Sounds ambitious. She leaned back, appraising me like a mildly interesting specimen. It is. Marcus is leading the charge. You should be proud your brother's making history.
Proud.
The word tasted like bile.
Yeah.
History. I lingered just long enough to plant the seed, then wheeled away, the cart's squeak echoing my resolve. They wouldn't see me coming. Not yet. The weeks blurred into a grind of calculated moves. I enrolled in online certs for medical billing, free through the union, and volunteered for every overtime shift in admin storage. That's where I met Raj, the quiet IT guy with a grudge against the Hayes for freezing his budget. They're vampires, sucking the life out of this place, he muttered one night while we sorted archived files. I nodded, filing away his email. Ally 1. By month 2, I'd aced the billing course and applied for a junior clerk position. Mom's influence? It backfired. She pulled strings to recommend me, thinking it'd keep me in her orbit. Little did she know.
It was my ticket in.
First paycheck, not janitor wages, but close enough to breathe. I celebrated alone with a bottle of cheap Merlot, toasting to the ghosts of what was and the vengeance of what would be. But cracks showed early. Elena cornered me in the cafeteria. Her designer scrubs a stark contrast to my polyester blouse. Heard you're playing office now. Careful. Liv. Wouldn't want you messing up like last time. Last time in the first life, when I botched a filing and nearly exposed their cover-up. Her smile was all teeth. Family looks out for each other, right? Always, I replied, spooning yogurt like it was poison. Inside, I seethed. The betrayal ran deeper than I remembered. Elena hadn't just whispered, she'd forged my signature on a complaint form, making it look like I'd embezzled supplies. It was her way of keeping the throne clear for Marcus. I started documenting everything. Hidden voice memos on my phone, snapshots of suspicious invoices slipped into patient files. The secret festered. Dad's death wasn't a one-off. There were others, quiet settlements for adverse events under Marcus's watch, funneled through Mom's discretionary fund. Millions siphoned, patience silenced. I was the only one who'd connected the dots before, and they'd made sure I paid. Fall turned to winter, and my clerk role evolved into data entry in the finance department. That's when I crossed paths with Dr. Lena Vasquez, ER attending who'd always slip me extra coffee during late shifts. You're wasted back there, she said one blizzardy night. Charts piling up. Ever think about nursing school? In the first life, I'd confided in her once, and she'd tried to help until Marcus transferred her to nights. This time, I play it cool. Maybe. Got any advice on scholarships?
She did.
And more, a lead on an internal fellowship for high potentials. Apply. The haze won't block it if it's framed right. Framed right. The irony burned. The application went in, and the interview loomed. Mom summoned me to her office the day before. This fellowship. It's competitive.
Live.
Marcus thinks you should focus on support roles. Support roles. Janitor with a title. I met her gaze. The city snow-dusted beyond the glass. I appreciate the concern, but I've got this. For the family. The lie slid out smooth, laced with the truth of my hatred. She nodded, but her eyes narrowed.
Good.
Don't disappoint us. Disappoint. As if I hadn't already in their eyes. As I left, I overheard her on the phone. Keep an eye on her application. We can't have loose ends. Loose ends. Like Dad. Like me. The interview was a gauntlet. Board members. All old money cronies of Mom's. I walked in knowing half the questions, thanks to Raja's hacked access logs. I talked metrics, patient outcomes, cost efficiencies, quoting Kensington like scripture. They blinked, impressed despite themselves. By the end, the chair, a grizzled vet named Harlan, leaned forward. Miss Hayes, your surprise. Welcome aboard. I shook his hand, pulse thundering. Step 2, secured. The fellowship meant rotations through every department, access to the veins of the beast. Marcus cornered me in the hall after, clapping my shoulder too hard. Little sis, climbing fast. Just remember who's really running things. I smiled, teeth gritted. Wouldn't dream of forgetting. As spring thawed Chicago's grip, I dove deep. Rotations in billing revealed the hemorrhaging, the Hayes wing. Their pet project was a money pit, propped up by shady deals with suppliers. One invoice caught my eye, overpriced ventilators from a shell company tied to Elena's consulting side gig. I photographed it, heart racing. The web tightened. Nights, I studied relentlessly, prepping for the RN boards while schmoozing Lena over coffee. She became my sounding board, unwittingly. The family's got their claws in everything, she confided once. But change is coming. Watch the board vote next month. They're eyeing a merger with Lakeside Health. Merger. In the first life, it had been the spark, Lakeside's CEO sniffing around, threatening to expose the scandals. Marcus had accelerated my downfall to distract. This time, I'd weaponize it. By summer's end, I passed the boards, top percentile, and landed a staff nurse gig in the ICU. No more polyester, scrubs felt like armor. Mom hosted a family dinner to celebrate, all forced toasts and sidelong glances. To Olivia, our rising star, she said, clinking glasses. Marcus smirked into his scotch. Elena eyed me like a rival debutante. Under the table, my foot tapped Morse code. Revenge. 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 The ICU was a pressure cooker of beeps and heartbreak, where life hung on 4 drips and split-second calls. My first shift, I saved a coding patient, Mrs. Delgado, mid-50s, septic from a botched surgery downstairs. as I barked orders, crashing the cart. I locked eyes with the resident, Marcus's protege, a weasel named Trent. He fumbled the AP dose. I corrected it mid-push. She stabilized, and the charge nurse, a battle axe named Rita, slapped my back. Hayes, you got ice in those veins.
Keep it up.
Word spread fast. By week 2, I was the go-to for the tough cases. The ones where egos clashed and protocols bent. That's when I started peeling back the Hayes layers, one chart at a time. Dad's old file was archived in the basement, but Raj got me in after hours. Under lock and key, the overdose notation. Scrubbed but not erased, digital ghosts in the metadata. Timestamp? Marcus's login. 2:17 a.m. The night Dad flatlined. Rage simmered low. A constant hum. I copied the file to a burner drive, stashed in my locker. Evidence 1. Elena was next. Her consulting smelled off, lunches with vendors. Invoices ballooning for custom integrations that did jack. I tailed her one lunch break, blending into the Loop crowd. She met a slick suit at Giordano's, whispering over deep dish about off-book deliveries. I snapped pics from across the street. Zoom lens on my phone. The suit? Victor Lang. Pharma lobbyist with ties to half the corruption probes in Springfield. Back at the hospital, I cross-referenced. Supplies ordered triple what we used. Discrepancies funneled to a Hayes-controlled pack. Mom's pack. Laundering donations for political pull. The secret wasn't just Dad, it was a syndicate. Family-fueled. Bleeding patients dry for profit. I needed leverage. Enter Harlan, the board chair. I'd buttered him up during rotations, dropping stats on inefficiencies in the Hayes wing. It's a black hole.
Sir.
We could redirect funds to ER expansions. He grunted approval, invited me to a informal dinner at his club. Over steak. I probed gently, heard whispers about the merger. Lakeside's aggressive. Think they'll dig into our books. His eyes sharpened. They will if we let em. Your mother's resistant. But change is overdue. Ally 2, Harlan, with his own axe to grind against the Hayes monopoly. Fall brought storms, literal and figurative. A nor'easter flooded the lower levels, exposing leaky plumbing in the old wing. While crews mopped, irony noted, I volunteered for damage control, cataloging ruined equipment. Buried in the debris, a waterlogged ledger from storage, handwritten notes in Elena's scrawl. Settle Delgado quietly, $50K NDA. Mrs.
Delgado?
The woman I'd saved? No, her husband. From 5 years back. Botched ortho. Marcus's table. Cover-up number 2. I confronted no one. Instead, I leaked an anonymized tip to the local med blog, Chi Health Insider. Sources say Mercy General settling malpractice left and right. Where's the accountability? It ran and signed. But Elena's face in the next staff meeting? Priceless.
Pale.
Snapping at interns. Mom called in all hands. Rumors are poison. Focus on patients. Patients.
Right.
Like the kid in room 412. Uninsured. Racking up bills while Marcus pushed experimental trials for kickbacks. I advocated for his transfer to county care, citing ethics. Trent overrode it. I escalated to Lena. She backed me, and the transfer went through. Marcus heard. Of course. He cornered me in the lounge. Coffee breath hot. Playing hero. Live, That's not your lane. My lane's saving lives. I shot back. Voice steady. What's yours? His laugh was ugly. Watch your step. Janitor. Some stains don't wash out. The nickname stung. A whip crack from childhood. Mom calling me to scrub the garage after Dad's benders. Elena giggling as I hauled trash. But I held his gaze until he blinked first. Winter holidays loomed. And the family tradition, Hayes Foundation Gala. Black tie. Schmoozers in tuxes. Me in a thrift store gown that hugged like ambition. I worked the room. Charming donors. Dropping merger hints to Harlan's crowd. Lakeside could modernize us. Cut the fat. Fat being the Hayes slush fund. Mom pulled me aside mid-toast.
Your.
Networking? Impressive. Suspicion laced her tone. Just remember, this is our legacy. I echoed, sipping champagne. Thought it was yours. Her smile tightened. Blood's thicker. Olivia. Don't forget.
Blood.
The word echoed as I danced with a venture guy from Lakeside, probing for intel. He bid. We're auditing potentials. Mercy's got red flags, overruns, settlements. Your CEO's stonewalling. Her mom. I filed it away. Plotting. Post-gala. The board vote. Merger on the table. I testified as rising talent, citing data Raj fed me. Efficiency gains, 20% in first year. Harlan nodded. Mom fumed silently. Vote. 6-4 in favor. With proxies. Merger greenlit. Due diligence starting Q2. Panic rippled through the Hayes ranks. Marcus upped his game. Extra shifts for me. Team building lunches laced with digs. Heard you're cozy with Vasquez. Careful. She's a troublemaker. Lena? She'd filed a quiet grievance last year. Demoted for it. In the first life, Marcus had her fired post my death. I doubled down, mentoring new nurses, building a quiet coalition. Rita, the charge, signed on after I helped her niece with a scholarship app. You're different.
Hayes.
Not like them. Different. The word fueled me through certification for nurse practitioner, boards crushed in record time. By spring 2021, I was NP in the clinic, overseeing outpatient care. Access level, executive adjacent. That's when the first crack showed. Anonymous email to HR, Olivia Hayes tampering with records. Forged. Obviously, Elena's MO. Investigation cleared me. Raj wiped the logs. But suspicion lingered. Mom summoned. Trouble follows you. Live. Perhaps step back. Or perhaps grow up, I countered. Calm as Lake Michigan. The merger needs clean hands. She recoiled. Then recovered. Bold words. Prove it. I did. Next patient crisis. A whistleblower doc from Lakeside, admitted with flu, but charts screaming retaliation poisoning. I stabilized him. Extracted his story. Hayes pushed bad drugs, opioid trials, falsified consent, audio recorded, drive secured. Evidence too. Summer heat wave hit. And with it, the due diligence team. Suits from Lakeside swarmed, poring over books. I volunteered as liaison, feeding them breadcrumbs, the ventilator scam, settlement patterns. Harlan covered for me. She's our fresh eyes. Mom noticed. Confrontation in her office. Doors slammed. What are you doing? Olivia? Sabotaging us.
Us.
The lie cracked. I'm saving the hospital. From you. Her slap echoed, cheek stinging. Ungrateful bitch. After everything. Everything. I laughed.
Bitter.
You framed me for Dad. Let Marcus kill him and bury it. Silence. Then her whisper. You don't know shit. I know enough. I walked out, pulse roaring. War declared. Fall brought escalation. Marcus accidentally dosed a patient wrong. Echo of Dad. I caught it, reversed, but the family closed ranks. Elena spread rumors. Olivia's unstable, jealous of her brother. Shifts cut. Evaluations tanked. But the coalition held. Lena rallied nurses. Rita blocked the smear. Harlan pulled strings for a transfer to Lakeside's transition team. Protect yourself, kid. I took it, packing my locker with a note for Mom. Blood's thicker? Prove it. Childish, but cathartic. By winter 2021, merger talks heated. Lakeside CEO, a shark named Pierce,
Called me in.
You've got guts.
Hayes.
Heard your family black sheep. I nodded. Spilling select tea. He grinned. Help us clean house. You run the integrated ops. Offer. Interim director. I accepted. Eyes on the prize. The gala that year, I skipped, watching from afar via Raj's feed. Toasts to new beginnings, but faces ashen. Marcus drunk-dialed. Traitor. You'll regret this.
Regret? No.
This was just intermission. 2022 dawned with the ink drying on merger papers. Mercy Lakeside Health System. A behemoth stretching from Chicago's south side to the suburbs. Pierce installed me as VP of Operations, a title that tasted like vindication. My office? Corner suite. View of the river. Far from Mom's frosted glass empire. First order. Audit the Hayes wing. Findings? A cesspool, overstaffed cronies, padded contracts, $12 million in ghost billing. I presented to the board. Slides laser sharp. Legacy projects must evolve. Or sink us. Harlan applauded. Mom seethed. Her proxy vote the lone nay. Post-meeting, she cornered me in the elevator. This is personal, isn't it? Daddy's ghost whispering in your ear? Ghosts scream when ignored, I replied, doors stinging open. Her face, cracked porcelain, haunted me that night. But pity?
Nah.
Just fuel. The purge began. Cronies retired, contracts renegotiated. Elena's consulting gig? Audited. Exposed as kickback central. She resigned in a huff, tweeting veiled shots. When family turns corporate, loyalty dies. Twitter, X now lit up with mercy mess. But public sympathy swung my way after I leaked, anonymously, via Raj, the ventilator scam to Tribune Health Beat. Marcus fought dirtier. Our volume spiked, suspect overdoses from tainted samples, he claimed. I traced it. His private stock. Dumped to frame the merger. Labs confirmed. Internal affairs looped in. He lawyered up. But whispers grew. Hayes heir under investigation. Family dinner. Mandatory. Mom's decree at the old house in Lincoln Park. Tension thick as fog. Elena arrived tipsy, hurling accusations. You're destroying us. Live. For what? Some janitor grudge. Marcus nodded. Scotch slurred. Always the outsider. Dad saw it, said you were weak.
Weak.
The word ignited. I set down my fork, voice even. Dad said that? Or did you? After you killed him?
Gasps.
Mom's wine glass trembled. Olivia.
No.
Let's air it. Marcus. That night. Wrong dose. Your login. Cover-up followed. Elena forged my name on the complaint. I turned to Mom. You buried it all. For the legacy. Silence shattered. Marcus lunged. Elena shrieked. Mom just stared. Tears carving canyons. It was mercy. He was suffering, bankrupting us with his debts.
We
Helped him go. Confession. Recorded on my phone. Hidden in my purse. Evidence 3. Matricide by proxy. I stood. Chair scraping. Thanks for dinner. See you in court. The fallout was biblical. Leaks to prosecutors. State AG's office swarmed. Subpoenas raining. Chicago Sun-Times splashed. Mercy scandal. Hayes family accused in founder's death. Stock dipped 15%. Picketers outside. Signs reading justice for janitors. Justice for patients.
Me?
I played savior. Press conference with Pierce. We're committed to transparency. VP Hayes leading reforms. Cameras flashed. I fielded questions cool as steel. Family ties don't blind me to ethics. Behind scenes, threats rolled in. Marcus's voicemails. You'll pay?
Live.
Blood for blood. Elena's emails. Pleading. Then venomous. Mom? Radio silence. Until a handwritten note. Come home. We can fix this.
Fix.
As if. Spring audits unearthed more. Dad's debts were fabricated, siphoned to offshore accounts. The family fortune? Built on patient suffering, denied claims, rushed discharges. I testified before the board, recommending divestment of the Hayes wing. Vote unanimous. Demolition announced for affordable housing. Climax brewed in summer heat. AG probe deepened. Marcus arrested mid-shift. Cuffs glinting under or lights. Elena flipped first. Plea deal for testimony. Olivia knew. Always resentful. Lies. But the narrative stuck. Online trolls dubbed me Janitor Jihad. Memes of mops and crowns. Harlan called. They're gunning for you.
Kid.
Step down. No. My voice steel. I'm ending it. The hearing, grand jury. Fluorescent hell. I took the stand, drive of evidence in hand. This isn't about family. It's about accountability. Cross-exam. Defense painted me vengeful. The betrayed sister. MS.
Hayes.
Isn't this revenge for slights, being called janitor? I leaned in. Mic hot. Call it what you want. I call it justice. Jury deliberated 2 days. Verdicts. Marcus indicted for manslaughter. Fraud. Elena accessory. Mom conspiracy. Headline screamed. Hayes dynasty crumbles.
But the twist?
Pierce summoned me post-verdict. Board spooked. They want a clean slate, no Hayes taint. Resign. Or we force it. Betrayal 2.0. Lakeside. My supposed saviors. Cutting ties to save face. Harlan?
Silent.
Lena texted. Fight it. I did. Lawsuit filed. Wrongful termination. Whistleblower protections. Media frenzy reignited. Supporters rallied. Nurses. Patients I'd touched. Stand with Olivia trended. Fall leaves turned. And trials loomed. Mom reached out through counsel. Settlement offer. Millions to drop charges. I countered. Public apology. restitution to victims' families. She agreed. Broken on TV. We failed. Olivia. Forgive us. Forgive?
No.
But mercy? Maybe. By winter, the system stabilized under my interim watch. Pierce out. Board ousted. Harlan stepped down. Endorsing me. She's the future. CEO search began. Candidates paraded. I prepped my pitch. Controversial? Hell yes, suing my own employer. Airing family dirty laundry. But results spoke. Efficiencies up 30%. Satisfaction scores soaring. Election day, board vote. Nerves jangling. I waited in the hall. Door opened. Harlan emerged, grin wide. Congratulations, Madam CEO. The room erupted. I stepped in, shaking hands, the weight settling. Not just a title, a throne built on their ruins. But as champagne popped, my phone buzzed, anonymous text. You think it's over? Dad's not the only ghost.
Chill down my spine. Who?
CEO Olivia Hayes. The nameplate gleamed on my desk like a scalpel, sharp and sterile. First week, press tours, donor schmoozes, policy overhauls. Mercy Lakeside, no. Olivia Health Network now, buzzed with change. I greenlit free clinics in underserved hoods, slashed exec perks, funneled Hayes wing funds to debt relief for low-income patients. The family owed thousands, try millions in settlements, back taxes, blood money. Mom's trial loomed first, a spectacle in the federal courthouse downtown. I testified remotely, voice steady over video link. She chose legacy over life. Mine included. Jurors, working stiffs like old me, nodded. Verdict, guilty. 5 years probation. Restitution order, $8.2 million to a victim's fund I'd oversee. She visited post-sentencing. Asserted. Hollow-eyed in the lobby cafe. You won. Live. Happy. Happy. I stirred my black coffee.
Relieved.
For the patients you forgot. Her laugh cracked. Forgot? We built this. You're just erasing us. Erasing. Poetic. Rewrite the story.
Mom.
Start with sorry. She left without it. But checks cleared weekly, thousands shaved from the empire she hoarded. Marcus's turn. Manslaughter trial. Circus of experts and reenactments. No blood. Just cold facts, his hands on the syringe. Login on the log. I didn't attend. Too raw. But Elena did. Flipping fully, he pressured me. Said it was necessary. Her deal. 2 years house arrest. Community service in the clinics I'd built. She cornered me outside one. Scrubbing floors in orange vest. Karma's poetry. This you're doing? Janitor to queen, bitch move. Therapy. Elena. Helps with the rage. I walked away.
Her curses fading.
Publicly. I was untouchable. Forbes 30 under 40. TED Talk on ethical empires. Vengeance isn't the goal. I lied smoothly. Justice is the foundation. Crowds cheered. Book deals pinged. Privately, the text haunted. Dad's not the only ghost. I hired PIs. Ex-cops. Discreet. Digging. Family skeletons.
Sure.
But this? Dad had a half-brother. Uncle Ray. Cut out pre-marriage. Estranged. Bitter. Vanished after the funeral. Ray Hayes. Last seen in Gary, Indiana. Running a dive bar. I drove out one rainy afternoon, wipers slapping like accusations. The bar, neon flicker, stale beer.
Ray?
Graying, bar towel slung, eyes sharpening on my face. Olivia? Christ. You look like him. Over whiskeys. Truths spilled. Your mom, Ruth, she wasn't clean. Before the hospital, she ran numbers for the outfit. Dad cleaned her up, but debts lingered. That heart attack. Payback. I warned him. Outfit? Chicago mob ties? My gut twisted. And you? Why ghost now? He shrugged. Protected you kids. But Marcus? Found out last year. Tried shaking me down for dirt. I ghosted harder. The text? Not his. Someone closer. Watch your back. Niece. Back in the city. Paranoia bloomed. Board meetings, glances lingered too long. Harlan retired fully. But whispers. She's unstable. Family drama. Pierce. Bitter ex. Shop to tell all. Hayes used me. I struck first. Internal probe. Leaks to Variety on his unethical overtures. He folded. Book deal dust. But the ghost texted again. They owed more than money. Check the basement, real basement. Mercy's sublevels. Condemned post-flood. I went alone. Flashlight app casting long shadows. Dust-choked files. Rodent scratches. Buried box. Ledgers. Yellowed. Not Elena's, older. Mom's handwriting. 90s, settlement. $200,000. NDA. Patient. Jane Doe 47. Crossref. Jane? A whistleblower. Pre-dad. Silenced for exposing falsified trials.
Deeper, photo.
Mom young. Arm in arm with a union buster. Dad. Reluctant. The secret's root. Hospital born on broken backs. Strikes crushed. Workers blacklisted. I was janitor blood. They made sure I stayed low. Rage anew. But leverage? I digitized. Prepped for a gala speech. Our history isn't spotless. But we're owning it. Gala night. Opulent. Gold Coast Hotel. Donors in jewels. Me in emerald silk, power color. Speech slayed. Accountability pledges. Fun launches. Applause thundered.
Then,
The twist. During Q&A, a mic from the crowd. MS. Hayes. Care to comment on your other family? Screen behind lit. Photos me.
Ray.
Time-stamped last week. Followed by, blood debts paid in full?
Gasps.
Pierce is doing? No, deeper voice. Distorted. A chaos. Security swarmed. I fled to green room. Phone exploding. Raj called. Hack trace internal. Your assistant. My assistant? Timid Claire. Hired post-merger. Interrogated. She cracked. Tears streaming. They paid me. Elena's contact said it was just balance. Balance. The web spun on. Fall crisis. Board revolt. Distractions they cited. Resign gracefully. Harlan lobbied against. Lena rallied staff petitions. 2,000 signatures. Keep Olivia. I fought ugly. Countersuit against Pierce. Doxing Elena's flip enablers. Media war. My op-ed in NYT. Dynasties fall for a reason. Theirs. Smears on Fox affiliate. Nepo Queen's revenge rampage. Climax brewed in winter boardroom. Snow blanketing the city. Emergency session. My fate. I entered armed. Ledgers. Petitions. Raise affidavit on outfit ties. This isn't distraction. It's destiny. I built this from the basement up. Votes tallied. 8-6. Hold. Cheers. Hugs from allies. But as I exhaled, the door burst. Feds. Badges flashing. Olivia Hayes. Detainment. Obstruction. Obstruction? What? Lead agent. Your evidence drop tampered. Someone's covering tracks. You?
No. The ghost.
Cuffed. Paraded past flashing cameras. Elena's smirk on the news that night. Karma. Sis. Jail cell. Cold. Echoing my old apartment. Calls to Lena. Fight it. She did. Pro bono team assembled. Probe deepened. The basement files? Planted forgeries. My prints added. Frame job. Marcus's style from lockup. Spring thaw brought hearings. I testified. Raw. They'll burn it all to bury me again. Evidence mounted. Claire's full confession. Tying to Marcus's cellmate a fixer. Charges dropped. Counter-indictments flew. Elena rearrested. Mom's probation revoked. Summer vindication. Full acquittal. Parade of apologies. Board? Me solidified. Expansions greenlit. But the ghost? Last text. Lesson learned? Or round 3. I deleted, but slept with one eye open. By 2025, Olivia Health Network spanned 3 states. A colossus of care with my name etched in every charter. Free clinics dotted food deserts. Telehealth bridged the gaps the haze had widened. I keynote at HIMSS, rubbing elbows with Gates types, but the crown chafed. Success is a spotlight blinding, relentless. And in its glare, shadows lengthen. Mom served her time in a minimum security resort, emerging gaunt.
Gray.
Visitation. Awkward. Like sizing up a stranger. You've done well.
Live.
Proud. Her eyes searched. Pleading. Proud. I echoed. Plexiglass between. Tired. Of the lies. She nodded. Voice frail. The outfit? Ray told you. It started there, your grandma's debts. Dad thought medicine would launder it.
We.
Adapted. Adapted. Euphemism for empire of exploitation. And Dad, mercy killing. His choice, pain was eating him. Marcus just. Facilitated, tears tracked. Forgive. I stood. Not yet. But visit the clinics. See what real mercy looks like. She did. Volunteering post-release. Awkward photos circulated. Ruth Hayes. Folding linens. Redemption arc? Maybe. Or just survival. Marcus?
10 years.
Supermax. Letters smuggled. Rants. Then regrets. I was scared.
Live.
Of losing it all. I burned them unread. Elena? Community service turned advocate. Irony's gift. She blogged, from privilege to purpose. We met once. Coffee neutral. Hate me still. Less, I admitted. But trust?
Gone.
The ghost resolved in autumn probe, not family. But Victor Lang. The lobbyist. Bitter from Elena's fall. He'd hacked via Claire, paid double. Planting for chaos. Arrested mid-flight to Cayman. Assets seized. Millions to the fund. Trial, swift. My testimony sealing. He bet on our fractures. We mended stronger. Public hero now. But private toll mounted. Lena noticed first. You're running on fumes? Boss. Therapy mandated. Board's clause. Sessions unearthed the core, not just betrayal, but the janitor scar. They made you small to feel big. Yeah, I confessed. Now I'm giant. And alone. Not entirely. Raj proposed, tech whiz to COO. Wedding small. Lakeview Pier. Lena officiating. Vows. From basements to boardrooms. Together. Honeymoon in Napa. Vines heavy. Sun soft. But even there, alerts pinged, system breach attempt. Old habits.
Back.
The empire hummed. Expansion to Indy. Board approved unanimously. Harlan's farewell. You didn't just rise.
Kid.
You rebuilt. Rebuilt. The word anchored as winter gripped. Holiday gala, no family ghosts. Just allies toasting to second chances.
But mine?
The do-over twisted. In quiet moments, I wondered, was this justice? Or just another cycle? The alley memory faded, but the rust lingered. One night, post-shift, I wandered the old wing site, now community center, kids' laughter echoing. A mop in the corner. Relic. I picked it up, twirled. Not weakness, weapon. Phone buzzed, Mom. Clinic today saved a kid. Like you would have wanted. Wanted. Past tense. But close. I replied, keep going. Outside. Chicago wind howled, carrying whispers of what was. But ahead, clearer skies. Twists end, not tragic fall, but guarded peace. They owed thousands, paid in full. With interest.
Me?
No longer janitor.
Queen.
Scars and all. Yet, in the rear view, one last shadow, Ray's call. Voice gravel. Niece, debt's echo. Watch the horizon. Horizon. I hung up, staring out at the lake. Storms brew eternal. But this time, I'd sail through.